Warnings of arrest, threats of jail terms, and violence all fail to put out what burns in the hearts and minds of the youngsters.
Hi, my name is Raje. My group mates are Alex Guevara, Elijah McKinstry, and Jefferson Sierra, and our project is going to be breaking barriers and school segregation.
What is segregation?
Segregation was made a law several times in the 18th and 19th century by white Americans to keep African Americans in lower status by denying them equal access to public places and ensuring that blacks live apart from whites.
After slavery ended in 1865, white Americans came up with separate but equal. This phrase was meant to keep African Americans under, and they weren't able to coexist.
What are the effects of segregation?
Segregation causes inequality in neighborhood with high property and lower home values and less job opportunities. African Americans had lower quality things such as water fountains, school books, which resulted in lower educations for African Americans.
Segregation affected many African Americans, especially school students, being restricted to talk or play to different races, or even have a conversation. It also did not help that the kids had to go to separate schools, and in some states, the colored schools had lower quality desks, classroom, and out-of-date books. So not only are they being cut off from other kids, they aren't getting the best education they can.
In these German-occupied countries, if a Jew walking on the sidewalk did not get off the sidewalk when a German was coming and take his cap off, he was risking his life. So we had that same thing over here.
I always wondered why I had to go through the back door of the public library, why I could not go into the stacks to get my own book. Why I had to go to the colored water fountain.
In Sears, I can remember white ladies and colored women bathrooms. You could not sit at presses or counters. We used to go downtown and to buy candy or something. We couldn't sit at the counter.
We couldn't even go downtown to eat in a lot of the restaurants downtown in D.C.
Let's say we were supposedly equals. We were being treated that way, and I suddenly pissed off this white person. They had all kinds of things at their disposal to do me in, and there was nothing I could do about it.
He said, you ran that light. My dad said, no, sir, I didn't run the light, it was yellow. Morris, I said to you, you ran that light. My dad didn't say anything. And he looked at us in the back seat, and I guess we looked like a nice little family. And he said, Morris, you look like a good nigger. So I'm gonna let you off this time.
It was a separate and unequal society, basically buttressed by local customs and laws.
I have a dream that one day, down in Alabama, with its vicious racists, with its governor having his lips dripping with the words of interposition and nullification. One day right there in Alabama, little black boys and black girls will be able to join hands with little white boys and white girls as sisters and brothers. I have a dream today.
There were many court cases ruling against school segregation, like Briggs versus Elliott, Green versus County School Board, and Plessy versus Ferguson. But all of these court cases lost, and there was one that ended it all. The court case of Brown versus Board of Education. Wait, you don't know what Brown versus Board of Education case was about? Alright, let me tell you all about it. There was a woman named Linda Carl Brown, and she was born on February 20th, 1943 in Topeka, Kansas. She lived during the school segregation era and she was in 3rd grade at the time. When she applied to a school nearby her house, she was denied because of her color. So Linda's father, Oliver Brown, who was a civil rights advocate, decided to sue the Board of Education and went to the Supreme Court. The case was recognized and was a success, ruling out separate but equal law that was used in a previous case, Plessy versus Ferguson, and letting us be equal and go to school with different races. But Linda later passed at 76 on March 25th, 2018.
Was what we call today a Reconstruction Constitution adopted in Georgia in 1868, and that recognized the equality of people. It recognized the right of people to work and be paid for their work. And at that point, there began to be some African Americans who were actually elected to office because they were then able to have the vote. And there was great white resistance to this. The whole society in Georgia was built on the notion that white people were superior and black people were inferior. The notion of the equality of every citizen was in play every day, whether it was someone trying to vote, someone trying to go to school, someone trying to get a job that paid a decent wage.
We feel like our topic, school segregation, is related to this year's History Fair theme because we have overcome segregation and now we all can go to the same schools with each other and make friends and learn all while being in the same environment and be truly equal.
Well, here, let me give you an example. Our school started with 5 black people. Well, it was actually on experiment, but look at us now. Right now, with Asian is 3%, Hispanic is 9%, black is 62%. Like, that's most of the blacks, and white is 21%, and the other 2 races are like 3%.